If you've ever felt lonely without being alone, this may already feel familiar. Not abandoned, not rejected, just quietly unseen. Because the relationship is still there. The routines still exist. The roles are still intact. And yet something essential feels missing. This is a loneliness that doesn't come from absence. It comes from emotional distance, a loneliness that exists inside togetherness. Psychology has a name for this experience, even if culture does not talk about it much. It's emotional deprivation inside a bonded relationship. And it's far more common than most people realize. Many people assume loneliness only belongs to people who are single. But some of the deepest loneliness lives inside relationship that never officially broke, where no one left, no one cheated, no one exploded. They just stopped meeting emotionally. Emotional attachment theory helps us explain why. John Bowlby described attachment not as romance, but as emotional safety. When emotional responsiveness fades, the attachment system doesn't shut off. So the body stays in the relationship, but the nervous system stays searching for eye contact, searching for emotional attunement, searching for the feeling of being felt. If that doesn't come, the loneliness begins slowly, quietly, and often invisibly. This is why people say, I don't know why I feel this way. Because nothing obviously is wrong. The relationship looks stable, functional, even peaceful. But peace without connection can feel empty. This is where alone inside togetherness begins. One partner may still care deeply, but lacks capacity or the skill to stay emotionally present. Not because they don't love, not because emotional attunement feels unfamiliar or unsafe, or even overwhelming. Emotional development research shows that some adults were never taught how to stay present with emotions, theirs or someone else's. So the intimacy asks for depth. They unconsciously retreat, not by leaving, but by minimizing. They offer logistics instead of empathy. They'll offer solutions instead of curiosity. Silence instead of resonance. The other partner feels it immediately, but struggles to explain it. Because how do you describe what didn't happen? How do you point to what's missing without sounding ungrateful? So the loneliness stays unspoken. And over time, the person who feels it starts to doubt themselves. Maybe I'm too much. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe this is just what long-term relationship feels like. This self-doubt is not accidental. Psychologist Harriet Lerner wrote about how relational imbalance often leads to more emotional attuned partner to self-question, while the less attuned partner feels relatively unbothered. Not because they don't care, but because they are not registering the same emotional signals. So, one person aches, while the other feels confused by the ache. This mismatch is painful because it has no villain. No one moment of rapture, no clear explanation, just a growing sense of being alone next to someone. And this is alone inside togetherness. And it often leads to grief. Not the kind of grief that comes from loss, but the grief of realizing what you hoped the relationship would become may never fully form. This grief is quiet. There's no funeral for it, no language for it, but it shows in the body, in emotional fatigue, in withdrawal, in a dimming of desire, in the slow decision to stop reaching, because reaching hurts. The tragedy is not that love disappears. It's that connections goes unreciprocated. And over time, the relationship becomes functional, but emotionally thin. Understanding this does not demand action. It does not demand blame. It simply tells the truth that loneliness can exist even when no one lives. That being together is not the same as being met. That some relationships survive without nourishing the people inside them. And that feeling lonely in love doesn't mean you fail. It means you noticed. This is the quiet truth about alone inside togetherness. And once named, it finally has a shape. Share what you think in the comments below. And thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.